Hello guys, welcome back to Old Trafford, and today we want to talk about Dusan Vlahovic from Juventus. Manchester United has been linked with Dusan Vlahovic in the last 24 hours, so I want to make a video on the key characteristics and the tactical analysis of Dusan Vlahovic. So guys, let's dive into this video. So guys, before I go into this video, I want to actually tell you guys that most of the pictures you're going to be seeing of Dusan Vlahovic are mostly the picture of him in the Fiorentina shirt, because Dusan Vlahovic actually has performed a little bit well in Juventus, but he has not really performed the way he performed in Fiorentina, probably because of the kind of team Juventus is, and that's actually made him to lose a lot of confidence. He's probably like a Rasmus Højlund that has lost a lot of confidence, as he's not really the player that he used to be. So most of the footages I'm going to be using here is probably from Fiorentina. So guys, let's talk about the shooting of Dusan Vlahovic. Vlahovic is actually a very prolific goal scorer. He's very good in scoring goals. He's a player that can be able to be a fox in the box. He can be a target man. I know that he's not really good in running the channels, but when it comes to being the fox in the box and actually being a target man, Dusan Vlahovic is a striker that can be able to do that, and he scores with a lot of power, which makes it very difficult for goalkeepers to have any chance of even saving the goal. So when it comes to the finishing of Dusan Vlahovic is probably one of the young strikers that's actually good right now in world football, but we cannot actually say for a fact that he has that fire in him anymore because of probably his form recently in the Juventus shirt. So guys, let's talk about the link-up play of Dusan Vlahovic. The link-up play of Vlahovic is actually pretty decent. He's not a visionless striker that doesn't know what to do. He's a striker that whenever he has the ball, he already has the vision of what he wants to do. He has the picture of what he wants to do, and he's always aware of his surrounding and aware of his teammate around him. And he's a player that can be able to kickstart counter attacks very quickly. And when it comes to the kind of profile of striker Dusan Vlahovic is, he's a kind of traditional striker that doesn't look to drop deep a lot of the times. He's a striker that actually likes to battle with the defender, just like a kind of Rasmus Højlund striker that doesn't look to come back to link up. He's a striker that actually likes to battle with the defenders, and he's the striker that can actually switch the ball with his left foot and his right foot. He's good in switching the ball with both of his foot. That's actually a very good variation for a big striker like Dusan Vlahovic. So when it comes to the link-up play of Dusan Vlahovic, it's actually a pretty decent player when it comes to his link-up, because he actually has a vision. But one of the weaknesses of his link-up play is that most of the time the execution of his pass is actually not really right. Most of the times his execution actually has a lot of weight on the pass, so most of the times his execution is not really clean. But when it comes to the link-up play of Dusan Vlahovic, he's a player that can be able to link up pretty well. So guys, the next characteristics of Dusan Vlahovic we want to be talking about is his creativity. When it comes to the creativity of Dusan Vlahovic, he's a striker that really doesn't create a lot of chances for his teammates. If you take a look at the assist ratio of Dusan Vlahovic in his best season for Fiorentina and his best season for Juventus, you're going to find out that he has like 3 to 4 assists in both of those seasons. That actually tells you that he's not a striker that looks to create a lot, but he's a striker that actually needs to be created a lot of chances for him to deliver. So when it comes to his creativity, he's pretty poor when it comes to creativity. And when you look at his stats in Fiorentina in the 2020-21 season and his best season in Juventus in the 2023-24 season, you're going to find out that there's actually development when it comes to his assists. That tells you that he has actually developed in the past few years when it comes to chance creation. So guys, the next characteristics of Dusan Vlahovic we'll be talking about is actually his dribbling. Dusan Vlahovic is actually not an efficient dribbler. He's not a striker that actually dribbles a lot, but when it comes to his dribbling in the eye test, it's actually very decent. Unlike statistically his dribbling success rate is actually being inflated because he doesn't really dribble like that. So he's also a very powerful runner on the ball, but when it comes to his dribbling is not really airlines like that of Harry Kane, Alexander Isak and the rest. So he doesn't really reach that level when it comes to dribbling, but he has a very very average dribbling rate, if I would say. So he's actually very decent for a striker of his size, because he can be able to shock off defender, protect the ball, and actually move with the ball, unlike the type of striker like Rasmus Højlund that cannot be able to move with the ball pretty efficiently. Dusan Vlahovic is the striker that can be able to do the job and do the simple thing on the pitch. So guys, one of the last characteristics of Dusan Vlahovic we'll be talking about today is his movement. He's a player that actually has the athleticism to make in behind runs. He's a striker that can be able to spot gaps in between central back and be able to make in behind runs and to score goals. But when it comes to running the channel, during his Fiorentina days, he's a player that actually used to run off wide and disorganize the defense by running a lot of channel. When it comes to his general days, he was actually a very efficient player when it comes to running the channel. But what I said concerning him not being efficient in running the channel in the start of this video is that when it comes to Juventus, they have not really seen him run the channel. When it comes to his Juventus days, he has not really shown that characteristics of him, probably because of the way Juventus play recently. So when it comes to the movement of Dusan Vlahovic, overall his movement is actually very perfect for a big striker like Dusan Vlahovic. So guys, let's talk about the profiling of Dusan Vlahovic. Is Dusan Vlahovic a player that is suited for Manchester United? Going by all these characteristics that I've been able to mention, he's slightly and tactically suited to Manchester United, but overall I don't actually think that he's suited to Manchester United, because he has not played in the Premier League before. Him coming to the Premier League, he's going to need a lot of adjustments, adaptability to his game, adaptability to the game of how Manchester United and Ruben Amorim wants to play. He's a player that actually needs to come into pre-season to actually know how the team would play and actually fish out the way the team wants to play. And he's a player that actually needs some kind of confidence building before it actually goes back to how he was playing in his Fiorentina days. And do Manchester United actually have this chunk of time to actually wait for him to adapt and build back his confidence? Probably not. We don't have that kind of time to wait for Dusan Vlahovic to actually regain that his confidence that he has before he moved to Juventus. So guys, this is what I have for the Dusan Vlahovic video. I want you guys to give me your thoughts about what you feel, if Dusan Vlahovic is the right striker for Manchester United. I would like you guys to like, to share, to subscribe to this video, as we have the target to reach by the end of next month. So see you guys in my next video. That's Old Trafford. Ciao.